Okay, let's step to it. This is hopefully going to be a quick video. It's just really about installing Android for development, or the Android development tools without Android Studio. This is using the video itself is going to have to be in two parts, unfortunately. This is using a virtual machine, this Mac machine here. And unfortunately, it's M1 Max virtual machines. They don't work too well. But the reason I wanted it to be a VM because I wanted a sort of vanilla installation. So just to show, rather than sort of redoing it on my machine, because I've got so much sort of configuration and various things. So. But we can get pretty far. We can install all the tools and actually build the Android project. It falls down when it comes to the emulator. Now I'm not exactly sure why. This is using the UTM project, which is open source. You may or may not have come across it. It's very good, but they've got sort of 700 issues here, and I don't know if that's going to get fixed. It's probably not a priority. So what we'll do is we'll get as far as we can, and then I'll probably have to do another quick video afterwards. But this is more really sort of a proof of concept, and really for my benefit more than anything, because I've just been pulling my hair out trying to do this for days, and go through various blogs and watching videos, and it's not easy. But Android development, as anyone knows, can be a bit tricky. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is actually go to the Android Studio site for the download, and you need to look for the command line tools, which is here. Now I have got a direct link for that, which I'm just going to use here. I'm going to be doing some strange things with Vim here, because this is a fresh, fresh vanilla install. Haven't even got Homebrew on here, and because of that, copying and pasting and stuff's a bit easy, so a bit tricky. So the only way I can do it is to delete. So if you're wondering why I'm deleting these commands, that's why. So I'm going to delete to the end, and then undo it. Then copy that. So that's going to download that. Shouldn't take too long, and it doesn't. And then we're going to unzip it. So again, it's going to be a delete, undo. Okay, let's clear that. And now we need to make the directory where we're going to store it. So again, goes in there, and then move it there. Right, now this, I use the sort of XDG settings, and for this setup you're going to need to use these if you want to copy along. Don't have to, of course, but I had one of the things which I think is a familiar problem with Android is paths. And I spent quite a bit of time getting all this to work. So anyway, this works for me. As I say, mileage may vary. So let's paste that in there. So that's the XDG path, and then the Android. Now there's a couple of tutorials, or there's one in particular, this one, let me find it, which was probably the most help I got, but unfortunately I did have some issues here. That Android SDK root is now deprecated, but it didn't work anyway, and so I sort of had to play around a bit to get it to work. So as I say, this works for me. You don't have to follow this, but there's no real, looking at it, it seemed to me that there's no real sort of clear consensus, really. They seem to differ quite a bit. Right, okay, anyway, we've done that now, so let's source this, source.zshrc. The other thing is I'm used to using bash as well, so I've had to switch to ZSH, which is fine. So now that, right, okay, so I'm waffling on here. I've just downloaded SDK Man. So this is the other thing. You're going to need Java installation. So currently, obviously, there's no Java here. I don't know if it's the... Oh, right, it's just the system install. But there'd be no Java home if I do echo Java. Yeah, it's not coming up. So what I found was that I wasn't even aware of this project, but SDK Man, I highly recommend you use that for, it takes care of all your sort of anything Java related, Gradle, Maven, things like that. And it's, I've only been using it a couple of days, but to be honest, it's just made things so much easier. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good project. It's quite popular. I'm surprised I didn't know about it, but anyway, let's get back to it. So I've just downloaded SDK Man then, which we're going to need for our Java. And let's check that that's actually installed that in the correct share SDK. Yes, it has. Right, okay, so I don't need to do that. So we'll delete that. Right, and we need to make sure that it added the correct, which it hasn't. So let's add those. Right, this has to be at the end of the file, end of your bash RC or ZSHRC as it is here. And then source the changes. And then this one here, oops. What's going on there? No such file or directory. Okay. Something gone wrong there. All right, let me try. I know what it is. I changed this with ZSH, and I think it might have caused a problem. So let's go to the end. Oops. That is actually what the instructions say with bash, but I don't know, because it does a few things with bash. And let's do this again. In fact, let's just delete that first. Local share SDK Man, so it doesn't. And let's go. Let's see how that works. Okay, did we get it now? Local share SDK Man. Yes, we have. And it's got it in there. Right, okay, so if I go to, let's put that all in again. Oops, am I in the home? Sorry, you can see I'm used to opening bash. Okay, that's fine. So that should work now. Where is this one here, isn't it? So let's run that, and that's good. Right. Now we can install our tools for Java. Oops. Right. So SDK install Gradle. We're going to need. It shouldn't take too long. And then Java. Now, I know, just a quick point on this, I just installed the default 21. I know version 21 works. I think with Android it can be a bit funny. Not all versions work, but you can install a specific one using SDK. You just need to add the number on afterwards, but this one works okay. And then Kotlin, which is Kotlin, and that. So we got the Java stuff out of the way. Exit the terminal. Yeah. So I haven't even got numbers on this Vim, so I can't jump. Right, so I need to exit that because it's to pick up Java Home. So if I check that now, it should be. Yeah, it's got it there. Okay, cool. And now we can actually install the command line tools. So I'm going to delete to the end. and this will do that process. And to accept the license or conditions, it might take a little while. Unfortunately, there's no slick editing or anything on this video, so right, and now we can start installing things. In fact, probably easier just to do a install.sh. We got anything more? And in fact, let's put them in there as well. No. So we're going to need the symlinks afterwards. Now this is important. This is another thing where it fell down. Because for some reason it doesn't pick up the tools in where it expects them, and it causes all sorts of errors. So let's just do gmod install, and let's do install that. Right, this might take a minute. Shouldn't be too long. I think it's when you download the images that it takes longer. The tools I don't think are too long yet. Fairly okay. I don't even know if all these are actually necessary. I don't know if you need the extras, but I did install them. Right, this one's going to be a while. I wonder if it's asking for a license. I'm going to guess that's what it is. So which one was that? Third one down. Live videos, eh? It was... Is that one right? Okay. If I was on my own machine, I wouldn't have done that install, because I just copy and paste, but I don't trust it. So it's not my machine as much, and I don't really use. Yeah, I'm not used to. Well, we've all got our own machines pretty heavily configured. Right, so is that one? Oh, it wasn't. I thought it might have hanged because it was waiting for a confirmation, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Right. Hopefully not too long. Cool. And right, those symlinks. I wonder if it did them anyway. Share Android. Yes, it has. Okay, so I don't need to do those. Right, now to get a list of images available, we can just run this command. So again, should give me everything that's available, and you can see there's a lot there. So pick out one that you want. In this case, I'm just going to install this one here, it's the latest Android. And yeah, point of note, you're going to want the ARM one. Well, if you're on an M1 Mac anyway, or M2. Right, I think this is one that takes a little bit of time. So, as I say, this is not a slick video. Might take a minute. don't do jokes. Right. Oops, sorry. I kind of went away then. And okay, so that's done. Right, so now we can create a device. Although oops, it's not going to work, is it? It's going to have to be like that. Right, so now if I do ADA manager, oops, list ABD, we should have a device on here. Right, okay. Now we're going to need that to run. Let's just create a project first. So I'm going to make directory foo, and let's go into foo. Now if we do Gradle, now this is what you will be doing with your Android projects to create them. You need to do Gradle init, it's an application, Kotlin, 21 default, is fine, name 1, and most of the examples are in Groovy actually, but no, but apparently Kotlin is the recommended way. So and that should give us everything. Right, now we can do it just a Gradle. Gradle run should just work. We should actually run our application. Now this is just a bog standard Kotlin project. It's not actually an Android project, but we'll get to that in a bit. But it's just show the principle that everything's running. All our build tools. Might take a second the first time. Any subsequent changes shouldn't be too long. Seems a bit slow actually. Right, okay, cool, yeah. Right, so that works. So any subsequent changes, as I say, should be pretty quick. So if we make a change, I don't know what the file is. Sorry, I've got to say this is just a sort of vanilla installer Vim. I've got no plugins or anything, so Kotlin org. So if we make a change to the file, let's insert, I don't know, a couple in there. So this should be a lot quicker this time. So for the Gradle, was it Gradle run? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so when just to illustrate really, when you're developing on Android, I mean, this was one of the motivations for me. I just find Android Studio is quite slow and clunky. Okay, so now let's get an Android project. And so I've got one in shared foobar. Am I in the home folder? Don't want to be in there. I didn't check. Yes, I am. Copy our shared foobar. This is an Android project. And if we go into it, foobar. Let's open it up in Vim. In fact, actually, let's open it up in Finder. It's probably easier to see. So we can see Android manifest, and you can see actually you don't need too much. It's a very bare bones application in terms of files. It's one of the things is Android Studio really sort of puts in a lot, and it can be a bit hard to see the wood for the trees. So it's quite nice just to do this, and if you're doing something that's a sort of hybrid application, you don't get all the sort of bloat included. So there's nothing there. If I do a clean, well, I can just, oops. So let's clean, do Gradle clean. So that because I've taken this from, this is actually on my main machine, that foobar project. I've got it running on there. So that should get rid of all the, oops. Doing Command and Tab with with the virtual. I keep thinking that's on because I'm on the virtual machine, but obviously Command Tab goes to my machine, even though I think the command is set. I don't know. So I probably should have had a minimal Vim install or something. Just make things a bit easier. And anyway, okay, cool. So that's clean. So what we should be able to do, so I should be able to build that and actually build it an Android project now, and this should build successfully. I think we're nearly done. Okay, cool. So that builds okay, and what we can do is assemble, get it really, oops, of course it doesn't work, does it? I have to delete to get it to the clipboard, and we can get it ready for debugging, which you're going to need to do. Cool. Now this is about as far as we can get to, because if I try and run the emulator, I've created one called foo emulator, and if I try and run that, it will starts and then it will stop, I think. It has done so far. So I'm going to need to do this on my, yeah, I saw something flash then, I don't know if it came up, and normally you'd get the Android simulator and then you could just run the following command, install debug and then run from it, but that's not going to work, no. So I'm going to have to stop this video now, and going to switch to my main MacBook.